Ladies and gentlemen, to begin by, on behalf of the entire Barbados Labour Party, thank the people of St. John for having us. Become on an important mission, humbly so, to ask you for your support, if you can find it in your heart. Give us your support for our candidate, Mr. Hudson Griffith. You will notice how much care I took to pronounce the name. I apparently, when last I spoke in St. John, in anticipation of things to come, referred to him as Hudson Phillips. Hudson Phillips, of course, as you know, was one of the most outstanding politicians in the Caribbean. And I believe that we have brought a candidate to St. John who will, in time, be one of the most outstanding politicians in Barbados. So it was an error in anticipation. And for Don Villinis, who is making a big issue out of it, I asked him to get a sense of humor. And that perhaps he might want to remember the hedgehog, that what it said when it was climbing down off the hairbrush. Anybody can make a mistake. I come on behalf of a party that treasures its relationship with St. John. We have not had a representative in St. John since 1956. But tonight I want to go on record as saying that our record in St. John is a proud record. I led an administration for 14 years. And that administration left across the economic and social landscape of Barbados accomplishments which cannot be matched by any previous administration since independence. And St. John was not left out of it. I remember leaving my office to come and quarrel with the MTW workers in Messiah Street because they were working too slow on the road from District C to Messiah Street. We did that. I remember work that we did in Foster Hall. I remember speaking to my Minister of Agriculture as to how it is that he could be spending 3 times as much to rural development in St. John than in St. Peter. That is the kind of party I led. But I also led a party that believed in the politics of inclusion. And you want to hear what I did as a Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance? The Permanent Secretary who succeeded Erskine Griffith as the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance was from St. John. And it didn't matter to me as a Minister of Finance or Prime Minister where he came from. He came from Barbados. That's right. I didn't ask him if he was a St. John then. All he was interested in is that he could get the job done. David Thompson, on assuming the office of Prime Minister of Barbados, caused to be put in the Nation newspaper a list of consultants that I had engaged. What he did not tell you, that when I took over the Ministry of Culture, I appointed a cultural advisor to the Minister of Culture and the Prime Minister of Barbados. And do you know who that advisor was that Thompson didn't have the decency to tell you about? It was a man called Mr. Trevor Marshall. The same Trevor Marshall. Yeah, I beg your pardon, please don't tell me no. Because I genuinely believe that if a man had a contribution to make, and he had the capacity to make that contribution, even if he came from St. John and was a dem, that he had a place in my office to perform that function. And that is the kind of Barbados that we must live in. And I want to say to the people of St. John, that when, not if, when we become the government of Barbados again, I trust that there is another young person like a Trevor Marshall who have extraordinary skills. Who is it them? And I want to say that. It didn't matter to me that Marshall is and has always been a them. And at one stage was considered and under consideration to run in this constituency. I want to feel that when we become the government of Barbados again, that there are young people in St. John who have contributions to make to their party, to their country, and will feel that the offer from us to them to serve will be an offer that they can take up with honor. With honor. And I've come to St. John tonight not to apologize for the performance of the Barbados Labour Party, but to tell you that we have led Barbados well, and that we included you, the people of St. John, in our employment and our economic development and our social development. And we brought educational reform to this constituency. And that is the mantra of the Barbados Labour Party. That is what the Barbados Labour Party has stood for in 72 years. And that we've come with humility, but we've come with pride. And what can I say about the other side? In my time in politics, and I have now been in politics for 26 years, I do not believe that there has been a greater affront, and affront means insult, to the Barbadian democracy and to Barbadian womanhood than the affront that the Democratic Labour Party is put in before the people of this parish. I also say the people of this country, in bringing somebody here to be elected on the grounds that you're electing a queen. And I am not going to mince my words. There is no Barbadian woman who could be the wife of a St. Lucian politician who could run in St. Lucia on the grounds that she is running to be the queen of St. Lucia. Can't happen. And if it can't happen in St. Lucia, why must it happen here? There is no Barbadian woman married to a Trinidadian man who could dare run in Trinidad at all, but believe that she could run and tell Trinidadians that she is running to be their queen. It is an insult and an affront to the democracy. There is no Barbadian woman who could go to Jamaica and tell the Jamaicans that she is the wife of a Barbadian, of a Jamaican husband, and she is running for the Jamaican Parliament because she is a queen. And it could happen in Guyana. And I ask you, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Where is that which is totally unacceptable to everybody else in the Caribbean must now be foisted upon us, and that we must accept it as if we are people without pride. But I want to say this. I have known some Barbadian queens, and some of them, and I'm not going to mince my words, they didn't claim the title of queen because of who their father was, but because they had sterling character. And they knew how to take next to nothing. Next to nothing. And raise wonderful, wonderful, wonderful citizens in this country. Those are the queens and the monarchs of Barbados. And nobody don't have to tell me about it. I remember, and I'm not going to get too personal, but 1965. My mother had lost her work on the plantation, but she would not give up. She went from to feel working for small people in St. Peter. And I remember that Easter when I should have been preparing for O-levels. I was with my mother helping her to tie canes in the small people fields in St. Peter because she was a queen. She was not going to let her family starve. That's the queen. And as we were working together, she was saying, humming a song, I must have my Savior with me, for I dare not walk alone. That's a queen. And her experience, Mara, is the experience of all kind of people across St. John who know what it is to have to go through the hornpipe full bend, go through the hottest fires to put food on the table. And in the year 2011, we are being told that somebody can be elected in Barbados to help write our laws, to help fix our taxes, to help develop our policies, because they are queen because of who their father was. What is Barbados coming to? If Mara Thompson wants to go to our parliament, she is not only going as the MP for St. John to affect what happens in St. John, she's going to write laws, deal with taxes to affect the people of St. Peter. And if she's going to do that, I am not concerned about who her husband was. I am not here tonight as Julie's husband. I am here because I have a perspective as to how St. Peter should be developed and how Barbados should be developed. And I would expect that if anybody wants to go and sit in our parliament to do things that can affect the people that I have had the honor to be elected to represent, I don't want to hear who their husband was. I want to hear what it is that they have in them. And what it is that they're intending to do that can affect the people in Fort Hill in St. Peter and the people in Black Bess in St. Peter. And that is what this election should be about. But why can't this election be about this? Why can it be? Why can't the Dems come to St. John to ask for moral support on the strength of what they have achieved, on the strength of their policies, and on the strength of their programs? Do you remember the St. Michael Northwest? The St. Michael Northwest by-election for Clyde Maskell?
Yes.
I used that by-election to come to St. Michael's Northwest to talk about serious matters. And I went through the campaign observing things. And I told Barbados, we got to wake up. You drive along the road, you see a little glitter and good-looking houses and so on. But when you come off the road, there's in Barbados urban poverty that is being shielded from Barbadians. And that it was honest enough to say that the time had come where we had to open up our eyes to the fact that all was not well in Barbados and that there was a degree of urban poverty that we had to confront.